Okay, so good evening again. So tonight, this is actually the last weekend for the live training. So today and tomorrow. The first week we discussed about setting up your VA account, all the things that you have to prepare, like the resume, the application letter, and other things. Now, the second week was all about social media. The third week was all about websites and other related stuff about sites and management. And then this week will be about apps that you might need to get started as a virtual assistant. Because it's not enough that you have your resume. It's not enough that you know how Google Apps works, because and also Microsoft, because sometimes clients will be asking like, do you know how to use this, do you know how to use this? So what I will be introducing tonight are just the basic applications, websites that are usually used when you start working as a virtual assistant. Okay, so let me okay, I will share my screen so you get to know where I am with everything in here. Um, have you heard about Slack?
Yes po, naririnig.
Have you used Slack?
Not yet. I don't think kung free ba siya or kailangan may subscription. Not sure po. Pero nakikita ko siya since yun yung mga parang one of the requirements as a VA.
So you know that Slack are usually required most of the time by clients,
Yes,
asking you like,
yes.
hey, you're familiar with this. So Slack here, this is Slack. I'm showing you my screen. Are you
Okay.
seeing it?
Yes po.
Okay. Slack is a communication tool. That's just it. It's a communication tool where you get to communicate with your clients and everyone in the team. So it's easier
Mm-mm.
to collaborate. Unlike with just having WhatsApp, because usually it's
Mm-mm.
just direct messaging, although you can create groups, but still it's not as convenient as Slack. Because Slack, you can send files, PDFs, everything, take note of everything and stuff. So if you're seeing my screen, right now I have four, which means I have four organizations that I'm part with. So the first one here, these are my clients, this one, and the I can help here is my for my agency. So this is where I talk to VAs that is under my team and other stuff. So that's just how it works. It's a communication tool and it's very easy to install. So once you search for slack.com, you can just follow the procedure and it will automatically be installed in your computer. And it's a separate applications, as you can see at the bottom part of my screen. So it's a separate application. And the good thing here is that Slack can be connected to other platforms. So you can connect it with Zapier. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but that's kind of, I don't want to overwhelm you. So I just want you to focus on Slack. So I want you to get familiarized with Slack. So all you have to do is just to download or search this one and install it in your computer. And
Mm-mm.
then you can, play around with it. Right now, I'm just using free tool. It's a free account. That means there is a certain period of time, and then after that, the previous messages will be deleted. So that's just the downside if you're just using the free. But for me, since these are just, because for me, it's easier. This channel right here is just groups. These are groups. These are like, for example, I just onboarded a client, and then this client is under this VA, for example. This is just a scenario, but it's a group thing. I just create a channel where you can set it private, you can set it public, and then this is where you communicate with the people in charge in that certain project or certain client. So that's Slack. And again, you can have multiple organizations, meaning as a freelancer, we get to work to multiple clients, right? So freelance, we can work with any organization as long as we can handle it. So here you can just add more organizations. If they're using Slack, they will just invite you. What you have to do is just to give your email address to them. Whatever email address you use in your Slack. So you just give it to them and they will add you in the organization, and it will automatically appear in your here in this area.
Okay.
Okay. So that is Slack. The next thing that I want to talk about is you're familiar with Dropbox, right?
Yes po, yes.
So you're convenient and you're like you're already like familiar with everything about Dropbox. Okay,
Yes po.
that's good. So I'll just skip it. Okay. This is just one thing that I want you to very be like to be sure that you know how to use it and how to play around with it. Because again, you can private things, you can put public things up and just share files with clients. Because I use Dropbox if I'm going to share some huge
Ah,
files, because I the Google Drive for me is where all my important stuff are. But if it's just images and videos, use Dropbox to share it to client.
okay.
But if it's very bulk, for example, it's for, let's just say, 2 gig files, and it's
Mm,
just one time for you to send it. It's not like you have to store the file. You can use WeTransfer. So not
mm,
sure if you heard about this one. So it's
Not yet.
WeTransfer.com. Have you heard this one?
Not yet po.
Not yet. Okay,
It's new to
this
me.
one is actually, you can use it for free. You just have to sign in. You have to sign up. And then what you have to do is just put the email address of the recipient of the file, and then just the usual email setup, like the title and the message, and then upload the file up to 2 gig. So you can
Okay.
upload up to 2 gig, one send, and then there is a time frame. For example, the file will expire usually in 1 week. I'm not so certain, but there is a limit. So you have to inform the recipient that you have to download the file as soon as possible. So otherwise, they cannot access it anymore. Now, the best thing about this tool is that I don't have to purchase storage just to send a
Yes.
file for one time, correct? So that is
Yes.
something that I want you to learn how to use. Now, the next thing that I want you to learn how to use is called Bitly. Have you heard about Bitly?
No po.
I hope you will not be
How
bombarded
how
with all of this. Sure. What's the question?
Ah, how can you spell Bitly?
Don't worry, I'll send you the list
Ah,
after
okay, okay.
everything. Yep.
Okay.
So this is Bitly. Just the usual bitly.com. What
Okay.
it does is it shorten a link. Remember when you search
Mm,
something, for example, I'll just show you an example how it works. Oh no, this one is better. So this is an Airbnb link. So as you can see, it's pretty long, right? It's pretty long. Can you see my Chrome setup right now?
no po. Nandun pa rin ako sa, ah,
Oh,
what's
let me
this?
let me
Yung sa
reshare.
previous kanina.
But you saw we transfer when I shared it or not?
No po.
Oh my
No, andun
gosh, you
lang sa
should have
Slack.
mentioned. Okay, let me try. How about now? Can you see my Chrome?
Yes po,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, okay. You haven't seen. So this is we transfer. It's WeTransfer.com. And this is where you send a file just one time. And of course, don't forget to remind your recipient to download the file before it expires. I
Okay.
think the best thing as well with this tool is that you can upload the file or the exact folder you have in your computer. For example, your files are in folder form in your computer. So you don't have to create another folder, blah blah blah. All you have to do is just upload or select a folder, and then the whole files
Okay.
in that folder will be here. I guess
Mhm.
that's best. Okay, so
Yes.
that's WeTransfer. The next is bitly.com. So
Okay.
bitly is, for example, this is, you see, this is a pretty long URL, right? If I'm going to share it to
Mm.
someone. Now, all you have to do is just copy the link, paste it in bitly. So you just have to scroll down and you have shorten your link. Just paste the link and then, okay, let me just drag down, shorten. When you click shorten, you'll have this. So this
Okay.
is your link. And that's is still directing me in the same website, right? So why do you think we need a shortened link?
Parang it's especially if you will send it to your client and it's too long, parang overwhelming dun sa part nila,
True,
I
exactly.
guess.
So sometimes, especially like if you're using it for email communication, you don't want to put long links in there because it will appear a bit chaotic at the same time unprofessional or whatever. So you can shorten the link using this tool. There are other tools that also shortens link, but for me, I use this most of the time. Now you can I still because I am using a free account, I am still seeing Bitly here. But
Oo.
if I pay the subscription, I can change this to a different name. For example, I want this file to be called Airbnb Village Inn. So I can rename this one. And when I send the file to a recipient, it will appear as if it's a website,
Mm.
right? So that's Bitly. Something you can explore. The next thing is, of course, you're familiar with Grammarly, right?
Yes.
How often do you use this one?
In terms of Grammarly kasi there are instances na limited lang yung binibigay niyang parang sentences na mapa-paraphrase or mako-correct. So, I use different, which is Quillbot, parang nabanggit mo siya last, training. So, ang
Mm-hmm.
ginagawa ko, copy and paste lang ako, then kukunin ko lang yung, corrected or paraphrase na word kung saan ko siya ise-send. Pero
Mm-hmm.
Grammarly, medyo hindi ko siya nagagamit kasi kailangan naka-premium to explore or para magamit mo yung buong ano niya, buong, features niya.
Understood. Okay. So last year I subscribed to Grammarly's account. So I think it was around 7,000 per year. So I did not renew my account because right last year I was doing blogs, and for me this is very helpful, especially if I wanted to check, of course, the grammar thing. And I have a lot of files that I have to check. Just, they are in PDF, sometimes they are in Word file, Google file. So I can just upload the file here and let Google Grammarly
Proofread.
check them all. Yeah. So one of the things that I also make use of this one is counting characters. I know there are other tools out there, but for me, since I have this, why not use it just in one place? So you can let me just, it's this one is disturbing. Okay. This characters right here, when you post on Twitter, there is a limited number of characters. For example, you can only post a maximum of 360 characters. Now, so just to make sure that I am not, beyond those characters, I use this and check the characters. So it's easier for me to, just check it. So for example, that there, and this is in characters, so I can see it right here. And if I'm going to count words, because as a blogger, when I started doing blogs, I also have to count how many words that are in the file. So, I can switch to word and it's easier to count, right? And I can also, since I have, if you create an account, even if it's for free, you can folder things together or you can just put it here in one place. So that's Grammarly, and it's a very, I think, one of the trusted grammar checker out there. So I really highly suggest, especially if you're writing emails, if you're going to respond to
Yes.
clients, you don't just respond, based on the words, what is in your head. And if you're not really confident or sure about your wordings, then try to use grammar checkers. So that is Grammarly. And then the next thing is, of course, you use Canva already. You explored it already.
Yes.
You enjoyed
Yes.
using it.
Yes. Actually, I paid a subscription for me to
Oh,
explore all the templates.
awesome. Well, there is a 1 month free.
Nagamit ko na siya before.
I see.
Nagamit ko na siya before. So,
Okay.
bagong subscription siya.
So what did you explore in Canva aside from designing social media posts?
The brand kit. Although hindi ko pa siya totally na-explore,
Mm-hmm.
pero you can do your own logos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a brand kit, then mga posters then you can also do your resumes here
Yep.
sa Canva.
So what I wanted to show to you about Canva right here is, okay, yes, you have the branding. I'm not sure if you have stored your branding style in there, because for
Mm.
me, since I am handling several like social media kind of accounts, so I just upload their websites or their logos in here. And then of course you can also, if you scroll down, you have their color palettes in here, and you can add your color palette because it's easier when you're designing. And the fonts, so you can also upload fonts. I'm not sure if you've tried it yet, but you can search free fonts, whatever fonts out there, and just upload it here, and it will appear in your options, because some of the fonts are not in there. Now the other thing that I wanted you to also maybe explore is that if you're doing presentations, you can also you can present it at the same time your face will be floating somewhere. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying, but let me just show you. For example, you have a presentation and you wanted to record your presentation, in a video, you explaining it, and while your slide is right there running. You can use, for example, I'm doing this presentation, let's just say, you're seeing my screen, right? Because I don't want to.
Yes po.
Okay, okay, great.
Yes.
So, for example, that one, I'm not sure if it will allow me right now because I'm on Zoom, but if you're going to present right here, if you click this one, you can have standard, presenter view, or present and record. When you click present and record, meaning you have the slide at the same time, you also have your camera pointing at you and your face will be somewhere in the screen. And this is good if you're recording a presentation, not a live presentation, but just, a presentation that you wanted to just do for yourself or submit it to somewhere. So for example, if I go to recording studio, I will have this. And since I'm on Zoom, I don't think it will allow me. So as you can see, I can start recording. I can also turn on the camera, but right now it's in use, so I cannot, do it. So that's how it works. And it's pretty useful for me. And other than that, I want you to also explore other features of Canva, because the reason why I wanted VAs, newbies, for example, to learn about Canva is that there's a lot of things going on in business. It's not just about social media. They will also ask you, for example, to design a flyer, design a banner, design a documents like the header and the footer. So there's a lot that you have or you might want to explore. And one more thing, I'm not sure if you've explored this already. There are video tutorials in here that you can explore if you're not really confident with your skills. And you can also produce, let's just say, a color palette, so you can just easily see like color palette generator. So why do you think we need a color palette generator? Like learn how to use color palette generator.
I think it's good then if sa business ng client mo para mas ma-brand mo pa, ma-market mo pa kung ano ba yung parang um styling kung ano man yung bina-brand nila.
True, because sometimes clients create bought their logo somewhere, but the designer did not provide any kind of maybe, or they lost the files like the color codes, the codes that were used in the logo. So you can use color palette to generate the color. I think it will produce the closest color. So you just have, this is still in Canva, and you can upload the image, and if you upload the image, this file will generate. I'm not sure you use this one. Have you used this?
Hindi pa
Not
po.
yet. Okay, this is still in Canva, one of the features of Canva. So I just uploaded an image and you got my color palette in here. So that's pretty useful. Okay, so too much for Canva. The next thing that I wanted you to explore is Google Apps. Last time we talked about Google Apps like last week, and I'm sure that because you're not there, but there are a lot of things in Canva aside from, Google Apps that you may want to check. So I know that you're familiar with Google Documents, correct?
Yes.
Google Sheet,
Yes.
Google Form,
Yes po.
Google Slide.
Yes.
Okay. Next is, of course, the Gmeet. You're familiar with Gmeet, right? Google Maps, Google Calendar, Google Drive. So these are common, right? But what I wanted you to also explore is, I'm not sure if you've used your Google Photos
For storage.
for
Kasi before
storage.
sa
Okay.
Android, o automatic ano siya, parang nagre-restore siya doon.
I think what the uses for me for Google Photos is that when I share photos with client, I just put them all together, like group them according to folders, and share it to client
Mm-mm.
using their email address. So unlike with just sharing a link or something, I share them, they can also be a contributor for the folder. So for example, we have social media folder, and then they have events out there. They took photos. So you just upload it in that folder, and I will also be able to get it from that folder. So I just share it to them through their email address. And I think that's very useful. The other thing is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this one. It's called Google Travel. This is where
No.
if you become an assistant, personal assistant, for example, clients will be asking you to like book a hotel, book a flight,
Okay.
create an itinerary for me, blah, blah, blah. So you can explore this one. Okay, next to that is I want you, of course, Google MS Word is there. You're familiar with that. Snipping tool. Are you familiar with snipping tool? Okay,
Yes.
it's a pre-installed in laptops for Microsoft, guys. Next is Loom. Have you heard about Loom?
No.
Okay, so Loom is the same with what I showed you about Canva, like presenting and recording yourself. But this one, it's recording your screen, wherever you are in
Okay.
your screen, and then you wanted, like, for example, you're doing tutorial. So you're
Okay.
recording yourself talking, blah, blah, blah. You can turn on your camera, you can turn it off, you can mute your microphone or not, just show your screen or what. But the idea here is that you can do a presentation or a screen video while you are also talking or putting or showing yourself out there. So it's like that. For example, I have this video that the reason why you need to learn this one is that sometimes, when you are not, you don't, if you're not doing meetings with a client and you wanted to explain things with a client, explain details, it's easier to explain if you're showing what you're doing, right? So for example, this is an example of me showing a client how to do things on his LinkedIn account because he's not familiar with LinkedIn. So this is just a tutorial, and I can also, this S right here, I can replace this with a video. So that means showing my face while I'm explaining. So that is Loom, and it's pretty useful. Voxer
Is it for
here,
free?
yep, it's for free.
Okay.
And up to, I'm not sure, up to 10 videos or something. Yep, there is limit. The next one
Okay.
here, I'm not sure if it's Voxer, I'm not sure how to read this one, but this is an application for your phone the goal here is that you can share
I'm so
audio.
sorry, I cannot see your screen po.
No, I'm not showing anything on screen.
Ah,
it's
okay, okay.
actually
I'm so sorry.
it's actually an application for your phone.
Okay. Okay.
So what it does is you can record audios and share it to client. So instead of chatting, typing or blah
Mm.
blah, you can share audios, like share audios. The idea of recording your audio and then sharing it, and you are responding through audios, something like that.
Okay.
I rarely use it, but one of my clients, he's an inventor and he has this different creativity in mind that sometimes just pops up, and he will record something and just send it to me, and that's all. Okay. The next
And
one,
sorry, question po.
yes,
Sa recording, from a phone or dun ka mismo magre-record sa mismong application?
sa application.
Ah, okay.
Yep. There is an option. It's just like, chatting, but you are
Okay.
recording. So something
Okay.
like that. The next one is Otter. This one was explained in my other videos, so I'll just skip it right now. You can rewatch it. The next is
Okay.
Toggle. TOGGL. So why I wanted to share about this one is if you are going to start as a virtual assistant and you are being paid as per hour, you may want to track your time. And it's not about staring the time in your laptop. It's not like that. It's recording how many hours you work. So you can use Toggle. It's for free. You can create an
Okay.
account and then go to timer, and then you can start. When you press this play button here, you can start the time. It means you're logging in. So you can also easily, after your shift, then you can see the exact hours you've spent. Because most of the time, VAs are being paid per hour. And if you wanted to track your time exactly how long you've worked, then you may want to use a tracker, a time tracker. So I also use this one to help people track their time. So this is something that you may want to explore. Now, additional things that I wanted you to learn, it's called LastPass. I'm not sure if you heard about this one. Um, this is because sometimes when client hires a VA for the first time, they're not comfortable sharing their password. Do you agree?
Mhm.
Right? So
Yes.
if you are in charge to manage a Google account, they're sometimes they're not comfortable, especially the VA is from the other country. They're not comfortable sharing their password. You may want to recommend LastPass. They just need to create their account in there, add all the sites that they need help with on your end, and then they can generate a different password through that app. So that password is not their main password. That password is like, I think it's only for you. So it cannot be shared if it's not your email address that was added in their sharing option. So something like that. So that way they don't need to give you their password, but you can still access the account. Okay. So the other thing is called Calendly. Have you heard about Calendly? Okay. So again,
Yes.
it's a booking tool. There's a lot actually. We have Acuity and other booking tools out there. But these are things that you must know how to use. Then, of course, Quillbot, which I explained last time. And the next thing is Streak. S Streak. Don't worry, I'll send you the list. What it does is, remember the frustration. Like if you can feel the frustration when you send an application, for example, you send an email application and then you haven't heard from them. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's very frustrating. But Streak helps you know if the email was viewed.
Oh.
Yep. So it's pretty helpful, especially like, okay, I sent this email and well, read it. So but she did not respond. then that would help me understand that she's not interested with me, right? So I don't have to linger in that
Oh,
emotion. So, for example, you're still seeing my screen, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. So, for example, the email I sent to you last time, when I respond to you, as you can see, I have here the hours that was that I s- or that wa- the email was opened or viewed. For example, this email that I had with Dan, it was opened 23 hours ago. So this will give you an idea of when was the file opened or viewed.
Mm.
You can connect it with your Gmail account. Then you're good to go. Okay. The next is a quick tip on how to organize your tabs. So right now I obviously have a lot of tabs in my screen just because I wanted to show you something. Okay. For example, I have a client and these 5 tabs here is all for him, all the tasks that I'm doing for him. So what I do is you can group them together. So if you right click this one and then you add tab to a new group, you can select, let's just say, client one, and I'll choose yellow. Okay. So that means this
Oh,
folder, it's already foldered. And I want to add the rest in this client's tab. I can just drag it in there, just like that, and hide them.
oh, okay.
So in there, if you're working with different clients, no, just even different projects. So you can just group them together and it's easier for you to open it, something like that. So this will help you organize your stuff on Google. And then the other thing before we end our time, it's called Google Workspace. I'm not sure if you've explored it, but if you have multiple clients and you have multiple email address. For example, the client one also gave you an email address that is for their company. The other client also gave you another email address for their company. So what you can do is you can create a workspace. So for example,
Mhm.
I have this workspace right here and the email address is under my other clients. So this is the workspace, meaning if I wanted to add something in here, um I wanted to save some folders. Let's just say I wanted to mark this one. So if I mark this one and go back to my search, I have this, right? So meaning whatever websites, files, apps, or whatever things that you're working under this client and you wanted to have an easy access to it, you can create a workspace and save or bookmark all the apps and websites that you're using for this client so you can easily access it, right?
Okay.
So just like how it looks like on my main account, which is right now, it's like this one. It's in folder because
Mm.
some of these clients doesn't or didn't give me any own email address. So that's why I just group them together. So for me, it's easier for me to access it. I group them together also based on clients, blah, 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 and other stuff. Okay, is that clear?
Yes po.
Okay. And of course, the last one, we still have 2 minutes. Let's be productive. Okay. Um, it's called Asana. I'm not sure if you heard about this one. Have you?
Ah, yes po, but I'm not familiar about the functions
Okay. So
or the
this is
features.
Asana. Asana is a project management tool. So what you can do in here is just add tasks. Like for example,
Mhm.
you're working on a specific project with a client. Let's say the project is about the website and that is the task, right? Now, if you wanted to see the details, you can add who will be the members or who are the participants for this project, when is the due date. You can add details
Okay.
about the project, description about the project, and then below people can add comments.
Okay.
So maybe, hey, people are reminding you, or can we revise this one or whatever. So they can add comments. It's just a project management tool. Okay. So the other thing is called Trello, which is also the same. It's just a project management tool, but the interface or the design is quite different. So this is Toggle. And what Toggle does, it's there is a board and there are cards. I can move the card in different boards. In that way, you can, maybe it's about social media, for example. And this post, for example, was already posted. So I will drag them in posted, and maybe there are other tasks, so I can just drag. So this is a different design compared to the other thing, but still the purpose is it's a project management tool. Okay, so that is it for tonight. Let me just stop the sharing. Okay, so we still have 1 minute. Do you have questions?
With regards dun sa Slack, yung sa communication as a tool, is it available in mobile application or
Yep,
dun lang talaga sa desktop?
it has a
Mobile
mobile
even? Ah,
applications
okay.
because it's easier for you to chat with them. This is Slack.
Mm-mm.
And I think this is
Okay.
my favorite communication tool. So if the client is pretty new with hiring social media, I mean VA, and they ask you for a communication tool, you may want to suggest Slack, especially if you're also dealing with different members in the organization. So it's easier for you to connect with them or reach out. So I will send you the list. Thank you so much for joining tonight, and see you again tomorrow, which is the last session. And it will be about interview. Okay?
Okay.
We'll do a live interview. Okay. Thank you so much.
Ah,
And